What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel. But before we get started with today's video, rocking some Bengals merch, rocking the AFC Championship hat and AFC Championship shirt, because my Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl, and let's hope they win it all, because that would be the greatest moment of my time as a Bengals fan, because I'll be honest, I have not given a shit about the NFL for years until this moment, because the Bengals have a shot to do something they've never done, and that's win a Super Bowl. But I digress with that. So, on to the video that we're doing here tonight, and that is the latest episode of Under the Radar. I actually got 3. There was only 3 other albums that came out during the weekend of February 4th that I wanted to briefly touch on, and they're all completely different styles of death metal. They're all death metal albums, but within so many different spectrums. And to kick things off, let's talk about the first one, which is Yawning Depths by Thorn. Now, this is a death metal band from the Phoenix area, and it's a one-man project, and this is their second album. Now, this album is very short. It's like only 24 minutes, so it's pretty much just like short, sweet, to the point. This is pretty much like cavernous, claustrophobic death metal with elements of doom and grind kind of thrown into the mix together, and it creates a very murky and almost disturbing atmosphere going on within the songwriting, the music itself. And like I said, it's very short, only 24 minutes, so these songs do their best to pack a punch. And when it gets doomy, it really gets doomy. When it gets grindy, it gets really grindy, but the death metal elements are just pretty much plastered all throughout this entire album. Really, the main complaint that I have, actually 2 complaints. One, in the opening track, there were parts in like the mixing and the instrumentation where things seemed to be a little bit off time with each other, like the drums weren't on time with the guitars at certain points. And then the other complaint, I kind of wish there was more songs on here, like at least another 10 minutes of material. Granted, all these songs are short, sweet, to the point. However, I wish there could have been more added on top of this album, because really, with how short it is, it almost feels more like an EP rather than a full length. Even though it is a full length, I feel like add 10 more minutes of material and I think it would have made this album much stronger in my mind. And for those reasons, I'm going to give this album an 8 out of 10. It's a really solid album from this band, and they keep going down this direction, or down this road. I look forward to hearing what they got next. I just hope that this man, the guy behind the project, I forget his name off the top of my head, hopefully can expand on the compositions as well as the songwriting chops to really kind of break out into the death metal world and really make something that will make people go, hey, check this fucking shit out. So that was the first album. Now on to the second album on this episode, and that is Venom Prison's Erebos, I think. I'm not going to try that again. Erebos by Venom Prison. So, I've heard a lot of buzz about this band, and I don't know why they just kind of gone over my head over the years and just, no pun intended, slide under the radar for me. Like, I've heard good things about it, but I just wasn't sure if I would like it. So, after talking to my buddy Necrotic Nick from the Thralls of Metal about, or hearing from him talking about this band, I thought, you know what, why don't I listen to this album? And of course, this is a British death metal band that has elements of hardcore, elements of even a little bit of classic metal in terms of like the solos and the melodies that are going on, because all throughout this album, it is brutal, it is heavy, yet there's great moments of tastefully done melodic play on the guitars, and even with like some symphonic stuff and really like somber ambience going on in the background, like towards the end of certain tracks, to really kind of add in this, to plaster a little bit of like an ethereal atmosphere on top of the vicious onslaught of music that this album projects. It even gets a little thrashy at times, a little bit grindy here and there with the blast beats that you get from time to time on this album. But Larissa, the vocalist, like, not only is she so beautiful, but she's a hell of a growler, a screamer, and a really good clean vocalist. Like, the clean vocals, while they're used very sparingly on this album, only for when the moment in the song warrants that, she's a hell of a singer. And then her growls and screams, she's just belting out and just unleashing absolute chaos on this. And then, of course, the instrumentation is on point. I love how it's got that kind of like bands like Gatecreeper have been doing, where it's death metal but with more of that like hardcore groove on top of it. This isn't deathcore, not even close to deathcore. This is still straight up death metal. It just has influences of that like mid-tempo hardcore groove that you would hear from other bands of today. Like I said, Gatecreeper probably being another big example of that. And I absolutely love this album, and I think I'm definitely going to pick this up eventually. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is fucking brilliant stuff right here. Like, definitely one of the best straight-up death metal albums of 2022 so far. And again, only a month into the year, and we're already just getting some amazing work from mainstream or, like, bands that are well-known and the underground. And this album's definitely keeping the momentum going that is 2022 for music. And now for the third and final one, and that is Persephone with Metanoia. Or Metanoia. That's more like it. Metanoia. That sounds better. So yeah, Persephone is another band that I've heard a lot about in recent years, mainly from Cover Killer Nation, one of my old good friends, Cover Killer Nation, because he was a big fan of this band. I think he still is. And after going through their Metallum and seeing like they were compared to bands like Neobliviscaris and Opeth and In Mourning and Edge of Sanity, Cynic, Obscura, among so many other cool, like, progressive, technical, melodic death metal bands, I decided to give this one a listen, and wow, I was not prepared for how masterful this album really is. It's basically takes, like, some of the best ingredients of melodic death metal, progressive metal, and technical death metal, and just kind of mash it into, like, a nice blend, into a blender. And out comes Persephone, and like the clean vocals are quite ethereal, the growls and screams are just vicious and brutally performed. But the things that I notice a lot, it's like those those melodic moments, again, tastefully done. The occasional like wankery on the fretboard was well done as well, not to the point where it sounded obnoxious. It actually sounded like, oh crap, they're just gonna go for it all on the guitars. And to me, if I were to just kind of put this into like a more simplistic comparison, I think this is definitely like what would happen if you mixed like modern era Cynic with a little bit of Obscura, some Neobliviscaris, and classic Opeth, and you mix it all together, and you get something like this, and this album and this band. So, I mean, top to bottom, like, the musicianship, like, I also hear a little bit of Tool influence at certain points on a couple of tracks with, like, the odd rhythms and time signature shifts that they're going through here, but a lot of Dream Theater influence in terms of, like, the composition of the music, and how they know how to write riffs and catchy moments and still be able to craft something that you could look at as a prog metal masterpiece of sorts. So overall, this album, this is another high contender currently for Album of the Year. This is a 9.5 out of 10. This is beautiful, it's heavy, it's melodic, it's ethereal, it's well crafted, it's proggy, it's technical at times. I don't know what else I can say about this album that I haven't said already, but a 9.5 out of 10, another Album of the Year contender. Highly recommend. I recommend you check out all three of these for sure. But what did you guys think of all three of these albums? I will have links to all of them in the comments section below if I can remember to put them, or not in the comments, in the description if I can remember. But until next time, horns high, and I will see you soon. Well, after we got done eating, we're on our car ride, and look at this fucking shit.
Look at this bus! Where are you going, sir? I rode the bus here when I was little, and the bus route doesn't even go up this road. It's supposed to go around. What are you doing, sir? Big doors, small doors. You want to buy a door? We'll sell you a door. We only sell doors. We're Door Incorporated. We only sell doors. What the fuck is my life come to? I'm never gonna live it down because Johnny Benson has ruined me. Financially, mentally, physically. Johnny Benson, dude. If you're out there, Johnny, this one's for you.